Our next presenter will talk about club visits that make a difference. And we have with us David, David Martin, DTM, has been a member of Toastmasters since 2014 and a proud member of three clubs. Later this month, David will probably accept the PQD Quality Award as District Secretary PQD for 2024. That's why I think it was much earlier. Anyway, um, David has, I mean, of course, with his under his leadership as in the SPQD, District Secretary has trained 85% of the area and division directors, and more than 40% have achieved distinguished club status. And let's welcome our current District 73 District Director, David Martin, DTM. David, it's yours.
Okay, thank you, Manny. Now, I haven't tested my microphone. I haven't done anything, so let's hark back to the early days of Zoom meetings. Can you hear me? Perfect. So when I joined my first Toastmasters club, I thought it was fantastic. Made a lot of friends there. I knew every single person in the club and I felt so involved. Why on earth would I want to go somewhere else? And one day, one of the very wise members said, "So, have you thought about going to other clubs?" And I actually thought she meant, "Have you thought of leaving this club and going somewhere else?" What she actually meant was, "Have you thought about visiting other clubs?" And I wasn't quite sure how to go about it, and I had no idea why you would want to do it. But she said, "Well, you could go and visit, I think it was Glen Iris. They have a contest coming up." And so that was the first club that I visited outside my club. Well, what an eye-opener that was, because we know that every Toastmaster club is the same, right? Wrong. Every Toastmaster club is different. It has the same elements. It has speeches, table topics, evaluations, but every club has its own culture, its own personality, its slightly different way of doing things. And so over the years, I have learnt that visiting other clubs is such an important part of our development. Now, I don't normally do share screens or PowerPoint presentations, but just to be different today, I'm going to try and all right, had a message pop up. Starting share screen will stop other participants' computer sound share. Do you want to continue? Elise, I'm assuming I want to continue. Yep. Okay. Here we
yes,
go.
you do. Yep. Sorry.
Right. Okay. So.
No, we'd much rather listen to Nicky's music, wouldn't we?
Club visits that make a difference. And the thing that you should understand is it's a two-way street. And that's what I learned. By going to other clubs, I learn and maybe they get something from me. So here's a lovely bit of Toastmasters clip art. I can't say that it's always been like that, but one thing about visiting another club, when you speak, everybody listens. It's just the same as your own club. So personal growth is facilitated by stepping outside your comfort zone, and with friendly faces we see on a regular basis, our home clubs, as I said, may become just a little too familiar. So there's generally 5 reasons or 4 reasons to visit a club. So the first one is, as we all were once, a guest who's just popping in to see what it's all about. They've been told by a friend, or they read about it, or their boss suggested it, all sorts of reasons in this day and age. It could be through Meetup, through social media, but they're the people who first visit a club, just like us. Second reason, a visitor from another club within the district. So just as for me, the first time I went to another club, I had learnt about it and decided I'd visit. So I said there were 4 or 5 reasons. So the first one, visitor from another club in the district, or a visitor from a Toastmasters club from anywhere in the world. And when we have international guests popping in, I get a real buzz out of it because I love comparing notes. I love talking about what our club is or why our club is special, and learn about why their club is special. Next reason, and the one that I'll be talking more about today, is a Toastmaster popping in for official reasons. And today I'll be talking about the area director visits. And the fifth one, Toastmasters coming along to help with contests as chief judge, voting judges, what have you. So they're the reasons to visit a club. Now I'll talk about area director visits, which a great number here today are. So the thing about visiting other clubs, it's like belonging to other clubs for free. So we pay dues to our own club, but if we visit other clubs, they're happy to see us. I like going to other clubs so that I can see what's special about them, get some fresh ideas that I can take home to my home club. And that's why I said it's like a two-way street. We meet other Toastmasters, people that inspire us, people who are doing speeches that we haven't heard before, in styles that we haven't heard before. So we get used to the members in our club, but going to other clubs and seeing humorous speeches being done or very serious speeches just gives us ideas that we can share with our club. It helps us build our network of friends. And if I think about all my Toastmaster friends, most of them don't belong to my home club or my other clubs. I'm very fortunate that most Toastmasters I know I've met through visiting other clubs. It also, though, helps me develop an appreciation for my home club or my other club. So when I see some clubs doing things a certain way, I can think, well, our club does that a little better. And so I learned to appreciate my club. And also, when you go to other clubs, there's a pretty good chance that you'll be asked to speak, to make a few notes, a little speech. And that's a terrific way of developing. So if you're an area director, before you go, schedule a visit via District Central. And I hope if you're experienced that you'll have seen this before. If you're brand new to it, you use your new login, which has expanded access rights into District Central. And one of them is the Area Director Club Visit Reports. And when you click into this, I'm not going to go through how all this is done, but when you click into it, down here, you'll find the name of the clubs that you're responsible for. And that's how you initiate the club visit. When you do that, it'll send a message to the club president, and that's how you start that process. So that's before you go. Now, if you're an area director undertaking a club visit, the first thing is to build rapport with the club president. You can talk about your Toastmasters experience, talk about your club, things that may be of interest to them, and ask some more questions about their club. You can explain, or not you can, but you should explain the purpose and process of club visits. A lot of people that you'll be speaking to, a lot of presidents, may not have been involved in this process in the past. The concept of doing a club visit to them can be very strange. What do you mean you want to visit my club? We're doing fine. So explaining why and how is an important part of it. And just remember, when you're talking to other clubs, we're always learning. You don't have to be an expert. And that was one of the mistakes that I made when I first started as an area director. I went there and I felt as though I should know the answer to every question, every rule, every nuance, and I felt quite overwhelmed by it. And it was only by speaking to my mentor, who had suggested I become an area director, and she explained, look, you go there, you're the eyes and ears, but if you don't know the answer, just say so. Just record what the question was if you don't know it, and move that up to the division director. So on the day, if you're an area director, first one, wear your Toastmasters name badge and pin. And I have good news for everybody. If you're here today, your name badge is in there. Every single one of you. It's in there. Your club or your role pin. So it will look something like that. Always wear that. If you want to do a little bit of bragging, perhaps, you could wear your Triple Crown pin, and that's good. So you can talk about that. And if you want to advertise things like pathways, you can, if you can find one or track one down, wear a pathways pin. If you haven't got one, ask me. I'll see if I can get one for you. You can get your own Triple Crown pin. That's quite simple. I'm not going to get that for you, but by this time next year, you too can have one. All right. If you've requested time when you spoke to the president, they may say, do you want to speak to the meeting at the end? Generally, area directors do offer a few words. So some area directors might be keen to knock off a speech. In their club, they may be trying to get on the agenda and it's not working out that well. But many clubs actually only have one or two speakers on the agenda. And they're very happy for the area director or visitors to come in and do a pathway speech. Now, as an area director, after the meeting, address or record club questions, their needs and concerns. And as I say, We don't need to be experts. What we do need to do is be enthusiastic and understand perhaps what the questions are. And unlike one of the meeting attendees earlier, I recommend that you submit your area director report as soon as possible. We had an issue last year where one of the area directors held back and almost missed submitting all the club reports. So I recommend putting them in or doing it the following day and submitting it the following day. There's no prize for submitting them all at once. And as district officials, we enjoy seeing those club visit reports coming in a trickle, not as an avalanche, so that we can read through it, absorb what is being said about the club, and working around that. So I do recommend, please, submitting those reports as soon as possible. And as Janine pointed out, the first round submitted by November 30th and the second one by May 31st. So your first round club visits will have started now. Hopefully, you've already done one or two club visits. Keep them going and make sure that they're all done and all reported by the end of November. Okay, so we've done all that. Once you're there, just remember, as I said at the start, all clubs have their own cultures and their own unique ways of doing things. At my clubs, when I've been the Sergeant at Arms, I like to really bang the gavel, possibly too enthusiastically, but why not? It's always good to have a look at the club agenda and just work out, how does this club organise things? And I'm talking about some clubs have table topics before recess. Other ones have prepared speeches before recess. Some have evaluations immediately after. I've seen so many different combinations. Some of them, I think, why do they do it that way? But they do it and they're happy with it. So just be cognizant that the agenda may be different to what you're used to. Definitely refrain from correcting host club members on things that are done differently. I recall going to a meeting once where a visitor came in and essentially told us all the things that they did differently in their club that made me feel as though we weren't doing things properly. That's not how it's meant to be. You can share, perhaps, things that you do differently, but I don't like to be stridently told that we should have our table topics before recess. If we don't, we don't. And be respectful of the meeting time. I've seen guests who seem to feel that because they're a VIP blow-in, they can talk for as long as they wish. And an area director who wants to talk for 10 minutes is probably using up 5 minutes more time than the club had planned. Now, the other thing is, when you go to a meeting, I always ask, is there anything that you would like me to assist with? And often they'll say, would you like to do an evaluation? Area directors often get asked to do the general evaluation. I've been to meetings where I ask, could I just do the timekeeping? And that is the end of my speech.
Will the presentations today be available by us? Thank you.
Mine will.